Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Eldridge Park as the Harwich Mariners look to exact revenge on the Orleans Firebirds after falling to the Birds 8-1 on opening night back on June 20th. The M's look to keep the bats going after scoring double-digit runs in back-to-back games for the first time in nearly 5 years. Alongside Tim Foley, I'm Colin Casey, bringing you live coverage on the Harwich Mariners radio network. Tim, temperature today on the Cape was red hot, just like the Harwich Bats over the weekend, with 22 runs over the course of the last 2 games during this 2-game winning streak. Now, as the sun goes down here in Orleans, temperatures dropping rapidly. Do you think we see the same thing happen to the M's offense tonight after having such a hot weekend?
I don't think so, because this Mariners team has had a really good approach at the plate these last few games, and really it hasn't changed for them that much all season. They've just maintained this kind of confidence. They knew they've had a couple dudes in their lineup who can get some hits, and of course everybody's seen what Brock Wilken's been doing so far to open things up for the Mariners this past week, but there's a lot of guys, especially in this lineup we're talking about through and through today, who look like they're going to be able to produce in a big way on offense today. And like you said it, looking for some revenge a week and a day later from opening day, that 8-1 defeat.
Nick Lucky will lead things off for the Mariners. He will face Max Rajic out of UCLA. Rajic, the no decision in his first start of the season, 6-3 loss to the Chatham Anglers. He only gave up 1 hit over the 3 innings he pitched. Looking to go a little deeper, though, in his second start. Lucky, the lefty out of Coastal Carolina, digs in, and the first pitch is a fastball that misses outside. We are underway from Orleans. Left-handed Lucky hit a home run in yesterday's game at White House Field, and here he swings and fouls one off to even the count at 1.
Yeah, Lucky had a nice day yesterday, sending one out dead center. Huge hit for the Mariners in a tight game.
Swings hard and comes up empty on that one to fall behind 1-2.
And there was a pretty big statement yesterday, that win by the Mariners, because you go down early, especially in that fashion where you give up a grand slam in the first inning, that can be demoralizing. But to come back with a grand slam of your own, that says a lot about the heart of this team.
2-2 count, pitch misses up and away. Lucky on the season, hitting 200, 4 of 20 with the lone home run. But he swings and misses here at strike 3, and Max Rajic is off to a strong start. 1 batter, 1 strikeout to begin the ball game, 1 out in the top of the first. So Zach Prosner will dig in. Here's a look at the rest of the Mariners lineup. Prosner out of Notre Dame, the shortstop, batting second. Brock Wilken at third. Pat Winkle, the DH, bats fourth. Carter Putz at first, batting fifth. Josh Hood, the left fielder, as Prosner fouls one straight back. Hood, the left fielder, bats sixth. Aaron McKeithen, the catcher, batting seventh. He had a home run over the weekend against Falmouth. Ben Malgeri also homering on Wednesday, against Hyannis, as that ball misses in the dirt. Malgeri bats eighth, and Hal Hughes, the second baseman out of Rice, batting ninth.
Yeah, I mean, I said it before. I like the composition of this lineup today from Coach Engler. You have guys in the back part of this order, namely McKeithen and Malgeri, who have been hot. I mean, Malgeri, he's batting .429 right now, 6 for 14 to start the season, and McKeithen, 2 for 6, but a couple of big hits against Falmouth.
1-2 pitch misses low, and the count now even. Yeah, like you said, the lineup really starting to come together for Harwich, and I think the approach stayed the same, but really the comfort in the box has changed, as there's a swing and a miss at a high fastball. Prosner can't catch up to it, so 2 strikeouts to begin the game for Rajic, just what the doctor ordered for Orleans, 2 down.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking good for Orleans out of the gate here. I mean, one of the stories of their season so far has really been, you know, when they pitch, they don't seem to be able to hit, and when they hit, they don't seem to be able to back it up with pitching, and so off to a good start here on the mound. They're going to look for a complete game today.
First pitch to Wilken is on the outside corner. Brock Wilken, boy, did he have a game yesterday. 5 RBIs, including a grand slam, as Harwich fell behind 5-0 early to Chatham, but that grand slam really changed the outcome of this game. But Wilken swings and misses and falls behind 0-2.
Yeah, I mean, there's not you can't say too much about the way that Brock Wilkins been able to come in and have success this season. I mean, we highlighted him as one of the players to watch before the season started, and he's lived up to that so far.
0-2 in the dirt, blocked by the catcher, Guillemette. That's Garrett Guillemette, who is getting his first look at Harwich. He was not in the starting lineup on opening day. The Wake Forest freshman awaits the 1-2. Fastball up and away. Craziest thing about Wilkin is he is the youngest player on this Mariners roster, and yet really kind of just exudes leadership both on the field and off of it, with both his talent as well as his persona in general, as he's able to work the count full on a breaking ball that misses outside.
Yeah, and it's always interesting to see when a summer ball team comes together. It's a bunch of guys who don't really know each other. And when you have a bunch of returners such as Harwich does this year, you expect it to be some of those guys who do most of the talking.
3-2 is sliced out to right field. That's going to get over the head of Connor Cox. Wilkin on his way to second as the throw comes in late. It's a 2-out double for the red-hot Brock Wilkin, and the Mariners have one in scoring position with 2 away in the first.
I mean, this guy's just seeing it well, so well. That ball sliced out towards right, a good piece of hitting to get that beyond the right fielder and have it bounce around the fence for a moment, gets him out there safe to second standing. And he really is just red hot. One of the best, if not the best bat in the Cape League right now.
His 10th hit of the season. He was at 409 on the year coming in. Of course, leading the team in home runs with a pair. First pitch to Pat Winkle, who draws back in the lineup, hits one hard on the ground to second, gloved down by Jace Young, and he flips it onto first to end the scoring threat and the inning. So a 2-out Brock Wilkin double does not lead to anything after half an inning from Orleans. Mariners and Firebirds tied 0-0. Take a quick break. You're listening to the Mariners Radio Network. Home half the first inning from Eldridge Park. Mariners unable to get anything going in the first inning. And now they will send out Evan Shawver to the mound to make his second start. Safe to say that his first one was highly successful. Tim, the lefty out of the University of Cincinnati, was absolutely dialed in that first start against the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox, going 6 innings, allowing just 3 hits, didn't issue any walks, and struck out 10 batters. Can't ask for much more out of your pitcher in his first start in the Cape Cod Baseball League in 2021.
No, certainly not. Comes out and pitches an absolute gem, really. It was quite the game he had against YD. Puts down 10. I mean, it'll be interesting. It's always interesting to see how you follow up a performance like that. You know, what's going through a pitcher's mind as he tries to follow up a performance like that. We'll see in a minute.
Here's a lineup that he will be faced for the Orleans Firebirds. Shortstop Jordan Sprinkle leads things off, followed by Ryland Thomas in left field. Connor Cox, the right fielder, bats third. Jace Young out of Texas Tech, the cleanup hitter, at second. Tyler Locklear will bat fifth and play third. Jared McKenzie in center, batting sixth. Julio Marcano had a home run on opening night at first, batting seventh. Benjamin Blackwell, the designated hitter, bats eighth. And Garrett Guillemette, the catcher out of USC, rounds out the Firebirds order. First pitch from Evan Shawver to Jordan Sprinkle is laced foul off to the right. Sprinkle out of UC Santa Barbara. Dynamic leadoff hitter with a really good glove over at short. Hitting .238 on the season. No home runs, the 1 RBI. It's also drawn 4 walks. 0-1 misses low.
Yeah, you mentioned it. I mean, they're at the plate right now, but Sprinkle and Young up that middle infield for Orleans. They have been excellent to start this season for the Firebirds.
1-1 pitch, check swing, sprinkle went around, signaled by the home plate umpire. So Shawver with Winkle behind the plate. He's certainly got a good report with him as ball's chopped foul. Both him and Winkle returning from the 2019 roster, and if I'm not mistaken, Winkle was the man behind the plate when Shawver made his first start. So, I'm sorry, it's actually Aaron McKeithen who's behind the plate. Correction, Winkle is the DH in his return to the lineup. So McKeithen, the one calling balls and strikes, and he frames one perfectly on the outside corner for strike 3. Jordan Sprinkle down looking. Evan Shawver, it only took him one batter to pick up his first strikeout, his 11th on the year, one away in the bottom of the first.
Couldn't ask for a better start, but to talk about McKeithen for a minute, I mean, he had an excellent game, not only at the plate against Falmouth, but behind it as well. Really did. Coach Englert had a lot of good things to say about the way he called the game, so he's going to be a big help for Shawver on the mound today.
Line drive into left field for Rylan Thomas. First pitch he sees, he sends it out to Josh Hood, who will play it on a hop. And Rylan Thomas has the first hit of the ball game for Orleans. He's on first with one away.
And that just might have to be the way that Orleans plays this all night long. You don't want to let Evan Shawver get too far ahead of you because, I mean, a lot of these Mariners pitchers this year have put guys down when they're ahead in the counts, but Shawver in particular is a dangerous threat. So look for some aggressiveness out of these Firebirds at the plate.
Right fielder Connor Cox digs in, the right-handed batter. The lefty Shawver starts him off with an off-speed pitch over for a called strike.
Yeah, nice pitch to open it up.
Cox, 238 on the season. No home runs, 3 runs batted in. In fact, just 3 home runs for this Orleans lineup through 6 games. As Cox pops this one up foul, it will make its way over the Firebirds dugout out of play. And in fact, 2 of those home runs, Tim, actually came in the opening day matchup against Harwich.
Yeah, they haven't had all that much pop. I mean, you take away those 2 home runs on that opening day, and just one over the past 5 games for them, and tied for the 3rd fewest extra base hits this season so far, with just 9 through the first 6 games.
Thomas takes his lead off of first. Shawver looking over, and he snap throws one onto Carter Putz. He's back in time. I'll set the defense. McKeithen, of course, behind the plate, puts it first. Hal Hughes at second. Zach Preisner at short. Brock Wilkin at third. Left to right in the outfield, Josh Hood, Ben Malgeri, and Nick Lucky for Harwich. Shawver from the stretch, and he misses with an outside breaking ball. The count is now 1-2.
Couldn't get him to chase after it ahead in the count. Thought that perhaps Cox would try and open up the strike zone a bit, defend a bit, but nice patience from Cox.
1-2 is ripped foul back into the screen. The other thing about this Orleans lineup, they do strike out a lot. Again, through 6 games, 57 strikeouts. So that's well over 9 strikeouts a game for the team.
Yeah, they've had a really interesting makeup at the plate.
1-2 is spoiled again. Tough at-bat for Cox.
Because just to talk about that a bit more for a moment, you expect sometimes when you see the high strikeout numbers, you'll see, you know, perhaps high extra base hits or high walks, but as I just mentioned a minute ago, they're not too high on the totem pole for extra base hits, and they only have 20 walks. That's some of the fewest in the league, and so they're just hitting a lot to these infielders, or just right at these defenders all season so far.
Another 1-2 and another foul ball. Cox dribbles this one down the third baseline. Cox out of Long Beach, the state schools out in California. Rylan Thomas on first base. 1 out in the bottom of the first, still scoreless from Orleans. The 1-2 misses below the knees.
Long Beach State, same school as the ace yesterday for YD in the matchup against Orleans, Luis Ramirez, as that game 0-0, ending after 9 innings thanks to that no extras rule.
Yeah, polar opposite of what we saw at White House Field. Line drive into left field past the glove of Preisner. So it's back-to-back hits for the Firebirds. And we'll see what Evan Shawver is made of as he faces off against one of the most dangerous hitters in all the Cape League in Jace Young.
A really patient at-bat from Connor Cox. He was up there for a while and then finally found a pitch that he liked and was able to do enough to drive it through the gap through the left side.
So here is Young, second baseman who's had a bit of a quiet start to his Cape League season. Remember, he won't be here for much longer as he fouls off the first pitch he sees. Young, 208 on the season. No home runs, 5 RBIs, but he did have a triple the other night. Hit one of the deepest part of the park in center field here at Eldridge. But as mentioned before, no runs scored.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just, that was just the story of the game yesterday. You get a guy on third to lead off an inning, and you can't get a sac fly, any kind of base hit to drive him home. And that was a quick game here yesterday at Eldridge. 2 hours.
Yeah, in and out. The 1-1 pitch misses low.
I mean, I thought our 2.5 hour game earlier this season was rather quick, but whew.
Rylan Thomas at second, Connor Cox at first. Still one down. Shawver a look at second, and he will bluff a pickoff over on Thomas.
That game was against YD too, though. Something about those Red Sox, they play quick.
A really solid pitching staff so far for that team, managed by Scott Pickler. 2-1 is swung on and fouled straight back by Young. That will make its way into the woods. Tyler Locklear waiting in the on-deck circle. He'll get a chance barring a double play ball. Preisner and Hughes both playing close to that second base bag on a ball up the middle. Shawver's 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He got Young fishing on a breaking ball in the dirt, and a huge out number 2 for Shawver and the Mariners.
Yeah, runners with a guy in scoring position and only one out. Really big to be able to pick up that next out, force Orleans to have to get a hit of some sort to drive in a run. And, I mean, they've done it twice in this inning so far. We'll see how Shawver settles in with the strikeout of that last batter.
Tyler Locklear at the plate. VCU Ram. Takes the first pitch and dribbles it foul. Locklear, .211 batting average. He does have that other home run outside of the 2 that were hit against Harwich on opening night. 7 runs batted in. That's a team high. He's got a great opportunity with Thomas at second and Cox at first to add to that total. Shawver peering in to his catcher, McKeithen. Comes set. Couple glances at second. Now the 0-1. That's on the outside corner. Good location.
Yeah, really nice pitch there. Off speed, just picks that outside corner. Those are pitches that are big to be able to get in your favor as a pitcher.
Shawver once again coming set. The pitch just misses. Oh, I think Shawver thought he was out of that inning with a breaking ball back door, but McKeithen couldn't quite frame it.
Yeah, he thought he had it, and it was close. Got to stay locked in, though.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Shawver got in one of these jams in his first start against YD in the first inning. Can he get out of it once again? The pitch misses down and in, gets away from McKeithen, but Not far enough for either runner to advance. 2-2 count.
Yeah, bases were actually loaded against Shawver. It wasn't until the sixth batter came up to bat for YD that he finally got out of the inning.
I think a lot of it was just some weak contact that found holes. The 2-2, swing and a miss, strike three. Shawver bringing the gas as he once again in his first inning of work strikes out the side and gets out of the jam. We're through one inning from Eldridge Park. Harwich nothing, Orleans nothing. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. We head to the second inning. No score between the Harwich Mariners and the Orleans Firebirds. Colin Casey joined by Tim Foley on this comfortable night. Again, stark contrast to earlier today where it was really hot, especially for the Cape. Temperatures making its way into the mid-80s. But now a real comfortable day to watch a game here at Eldridge Park in Orleans, and a lot of people taking advantage of that. First pitch of the inning to Carter Putz is on the outside corner for strike one.
Yeah, I mean, a gorgeous day. Really, these last few days been really beautiful. Of course, had that one rain out, but couldn't ask for a better.
Putz hits this one a ton to right center field. That ball going back, track to the wall, and it's going to one-hop the wall. Putz jogging into second. He is in there safely as the Mariners start off the inning with a bang. Carter Putz ripping one to right center for a double.
Yeah, Carter Putz, I mean, he just continues to provide for these Mariners. Had a double yesterday against Chatham, and then, of course, had his big day in his debut against Falmouth. 3-game hit streak now for the Notre Dame product.
Talk about making an immediate impact in this Harwich lineup, and it's an RBI opportunity with nobody out for Josh Hood. Watches a first pitch fastball miss up and away. Hood, so far in the season, is 3 for 10. 3 RBIs, but he has not driven in any runs off of a right-handed pitcher this season, so looking to change that trend as he watches a fastball in the outside corner, 1-1. Hood, formerly of Penn, transferring to NC State. And he gets a breaking ball and comes up empty, 1-2.
Yeah, trying to be aggressive at the plate here. Couple big cuts.
Looking by Rajic, and he gets Hood swinging on the curveball for strike 3. That's the third strikeout for Max Rajic, and a big out number 1 with Putz still on second.
Yeah, that's what you got to do if you're Orleans. Leadoff guy gets on second base. You have to be pretty solid from there on out the rest of the inning to make sure that it stays a tie game.
Here's Aaron McKeithen, UNC Charlotte product, the catcher. He's first pitch swinging, and he fouls it straight back. McKeithen belted his first home run of the season a couple of nights ago in Falmouth in that 11-9 Harwich victory. Thought it would have been a nice insurance run that safely put that game out of reach, but that was not the case as Falmouth came roaring back to make it a ball game. 0-1 misses up and in.
And to just talk about him again, literally every single one of his at-bats in that Falmouth game was productive. You know, he walked, got on with a fielder's choice, had a sac fly, then the home run, then walked again. And so he's starting to really come alive here.
McKeithen watches a strike at the knees, well framed by the catcher, Guillemette. Carter puts it second. The pitch. Breaking ball just misses low and outside the Orleans dugout. Thought otherwise. Count even 2-2.
And then we saw some of that. Again, I'm going to talk about how he played in Falmouth. There were a couple pitches that were close, but he knew to lay off of them. That's another one right there that was just outside the plate.
2-2. Fastball and a one-handed follow-through from McKeith, and he just wanted to spoil that one foul, and he did just that. And McKeithen just 6 at-bats so far, but like you mentioned, the big game in Falmouth really helping that batting average, 2 for 6. And he is granted time after a long look-in by Max Rajic.
But if you're the Mariners, this has to be a run you have to drive across here with Putz standing on second.
Breaking ball just misses once again, and that'll run the count full.
Because it's been one of the stories for the Mariners this season where they'll get runners on to either open up an inning or with just one out, but they can't seem to move them around the bases.
Payoff pitch. Breaking ball hit on the ground to short. Sprinkle fields it clean. The throw in plenty of time as Putz forced to stay at second base with a ball hit to short. That is 2 outs and still a runner on second for Harwich.
Yeah, just a little look over from Sprinkle. That's all it takes to keep the runner Putz right over at second.
So a good opportunity for another guy who's been red hot as of late, Ben Malgeri. Northeastern Husky has been absolutely phenomenal, especially against right-handed pitching, but here he chops one on the ground to first, gloved. Throw on to first by Marcano is in time. The pitcher covering Rajic helping out his own cause, and the inning is over. So a leadoff double for Carter Putz does not amount to anything. We're through 1.5. Still scoreless from Eldridge Park. You're listening to Harwich Mariners baseball on the Mariners Radio Network. Evan Shawver heads back out for his second inning of work after getting out of that first inning jam against the Firebirds. His team getting a couple of extra base hits in the top half of each of the first 2 innings, Tim, but so far we're seeing kind of what we saw on opening night where the Mariners just haven't been able to get that hit that capitalizes and brings home runs.
Yeah, I mean they had that one hit out to deep right center. It was a pretty well hit ball. But as you know, here at Eldridge Park, center field starts to taper pretty deep out at 434 to dead center. So perhaps to a bit of disadvantage if that hit from Putz might have been able to sneak out in another ballpark. But even still, you need to be able to string runs together. You can't rely entirely on the long ball, as they have a bit these past 2 games.
Shawver will be greeted by the left-hander Jared McKenzie from Baylor. McKenzie digs in, and the first pitch he sees is a breaking ball that misses up and in.
And again, about Harwich on offense, I said it a bit earlier, this is a pretty stout defensive team for Orleans.
McKenzie sends this ball in the air out to, no, that was actually deep in the hole at second. Nice play by Hughes. Flips it onto first, and it's a quick out number 1.
Yeah, really nice glove to be able to pull that one down. A one hopper, sometimes can be tough to grab, but a nice swing of the glove, and there's 1 down quickly.
An efficient start to the second after Shawver did throw quite a few pitches fact, he threw 24 in the first inning, as there's a pitch that catches a strike zone on Julio Marcano. Marcano, of course, hitting a long home run off Nick Sinicola on opening night. Count even 1-1. Really set the tone for that entire game, as it had been scoreless through the first couple of innings, and then Marcano just put a charge into one. Julio Marcano watches a 1-1 over for strike two.
Yeah, I mean, this is an Orleans team that since that first game has kind of struggled to score runs on a regular basis.
Chopper to third. Brock Wilkin comes up with it, throws across the diamond in plenty of time for out number two. Just what the doctor ordered for Shawver. We know he's a strikeout pitcher, Tim, but you got to be able to get further into games, and sometimes, even if you don't strike out guys, a 1-2-3 inning with some putouts, it's not going to hurt anybody.
No, you take those. You trust your defense to make plays around you, and I think you trust them even more as the season goes along. You start to get to know guys, get a feel for how they play. And you mentioned going deep into a game. I want to see Shawver try to continue to go deep into this one because he can pitch the contact and get guys down.
Benjamin Blackwell digs in. The Dayton Flyer watches strike one. Blackwell, don't believe he appeared in the opening night game, as he chops one foul. Yeah, it doesn't look like it, as he, of course, being the DH in this one. Marcano was the DH in that game, but he moves to first. And of course, you got to remember there was also a second game scheduled at White House Field last week that was not completed. Only went 2.5 innings before it was discontinued due to heavy rain, as a fastball misses high.
Yeah, a lot of early season. I mean, you see a team play for a few innings. You start to get to know them a little bit, their tendencies at the plate.
1-2 from Shawver. On the outside corner, strike three. Blackwell rung up on the fastball, and the inning, just like that, is over. A 1-2-3 second for Evan Shawver and the Harwich Mariners. They look to get the bats going in the third. We're through two from Eldridge Park. No score. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Third inning from Orleans, Massachusetts. Still no score. Colin Casey alongside Tim Foley bringing you coverage of Harwich Mariners baseball on the Mariners Radio Network. And Tim, so far, starting to see what Orleans saw yesterday against YD, and that is not a lot of offense despite both teams getting their fair share of opportunities.
Yeah, 2 doubles so far for the Mariners. Nothing's really come across for it, and a string of hits in the first inning for Orleans, but nothing from that. A defensive battle so far, and one to be expected. Orleans does have the highest fielding percentage in the league right now at .991, tied right up there with Brewster. So if you're Harwich, I think the key to this game offensively is going to have to be finding gaps. You can't rely so much on errors and having the other team kind of get in their own way like you saw with Falmouth with 4 errors through the first few innings over at Gov Fuller.
Yeah, that really sank them in that game. Hal Hughes, the 9-hitter, leads things off, and look out, he watches a fastball up and in as he has to duck out of the way. Hughes swung a steady bat so far on the Cape in 20 at-bats. He's recorded 5 hits, including a double and 2 RBIs. Breaking ball to the Rice middle infielder, misses just inside.
Yeah, not a bad start to his return campaign here in Harwich. It's been off to a nice start.
Max Rajic, the 2-0 is lined into right field. That one is past the right fielder of Cox, and Hughes is going to go to second. He loses his helmet and is in standing. Another double. And Tim, this time it wasn't robbed out in right field like we saw on opening night with Austin DeLauder in right field. This time Cox unable to get that one.
Took the words out of my mouth, Colin. As soon as I saw that ball tailed towards right field, I thought that thing was going to be caught somehow by somebody. But it manages to get down, and we could hear it from the Harwich dugout. I think they even knew it too, that Hughes had some frustrations hitting out to right field last Sunday. So definitely good to see him get a hit off in that part of the field.
Second double of the season for Hughes, and once again the Mariners are in business with nobody out. Lineup card turns over. Nick Lucky will get his second opportunity. He struck out swinging to begin the ball game.
Another opening double for the Mariners. Happened last inning too.
Lucky chops one foul. He has been bitten by the strikeout early on in the season. He is now tied with Cade Beloso for the most Ks for hitters in the lineup with 8. But again, you take the good with the bad. We certainly saw the good yesterday when he sent one well over 400 feet to dead center out of White House Field. That brought the team within 1, and of course the Mariners would eventually take the lead and keep it for an 11-6 victory over Chatham. Rajic bluffs a pickoff move to Hughes on second. Now comes back to the stretch. He fires home. Breaking ball hit off the end of the bat to third. Locklear patiently waiting and then throws on to Marcano for out number 1. And there's that defense we talked about, Tim. Outstanding in opening night. Just a heads-up play by Locklear, taking his time, glancing at second, holding Hughes at second base before firing onto first.
Yeah, these Firebirds, really high IQ. They know how to keep a runner on a bag. Mariners, they're well aware of that. They're not going to try and test that all too much tonight.
Zach Preisner also struck out swinging in his first at-bat. Shortstop out of Notre Dame. First pitch breaking ball in there for strike 1. Preisner, of course, not just a teammate of Carter Putz, but also the teammate of Nico Cavadas, who was on this Mariners team in 2019 and led the CCBL in home runs. Did more of the same this year for Notre Dame in 2021, as a breaking ball is on the outside corner for another strike.
Yeah, strong connection between the Harwich Mariners and Notre Dame. As you mentioned, Cavadas, also Joe Boyle on that 2019 team. And now it's been a strong start to the season for all the Notre Dame products we've gotten so far.
Fastball misses high. And just looking at Cavadas' final line for that season, hit .252. Breaking ball misses down in the dirt. I was looking at this stat page, and all of a sudden I looked and saw, I don't think that's right, because he had far less home runs than I remember him sending out.
Gotta check your sources.
Yeah. Of course, he had a 3 home run game against Wareham. One of the big highlights of that Mariners season. Breaking ball is hit on the ground towards second. Fielded by Sprinkle. He's got to hurry. The throw is in time, as that is out number 2. But Hal Hughes able to advance to third base with 2 down, and the dangerous Brock Wilkins stepping to the dish.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you need if you're Harwich. Just a good hit ball towards a funky spot in the infield that forces the infield to have to throw the ball onto first and open up some space for your guy on second and Hughes to make it down to the third base bag.
And now we're going to have a discussion, and you wonder if pitching coach is coming out and saying, hey, why don't we take our chances with Pat Winkle on deck with the bat that Brock Wilkin has been swinging lately. Of course, Wilkin ripping a double to right center with 2 away in the first.
Yeah, I wouldn't be so surprised. You mentioned it, perhaps just putting him on base. You already have 2 outs. As umpires looking to break up the meeting in a moment here, but I think could be a smart decision here for the Firebirds, as Wilkin has been very, very hot.
Mound visit is complete. For now, Wilkin digs in.
I mean, at the very least, you want to talk about how to pitch to him if you're not
Right.
just going to put him on.
Going to pitch carefully out of the windup, Max Rajic. First pitch misses to Wilkin. Wind really blowing tonight, as it was yesterday, according to a lot of the Orleans staff, as fastball on the outside corner, 1-1.
Yeah, that's a lot of what stifled that offense yesterday. Wind was blowing in from dead center, and it's already so far out there that not a whole lot's getting out. A lot's going to hang up today.
Hughes leads off third. The fastball misses in on Brock Wilkin. Wilkin certainly making a claim for league MVP. I know we're only a few games in, but he has just been a tough out for every pitcher he faces, and here he is ahead in the count, 3-1.
Yeah, he doesn't only just hit it. You see this a lot with power hitters. They even still just get on base. 3 walks, and he's been hit the most on the team with 3 balls delivered into his shoulder.
3-1 from Rajic. A high pop-up on the infield. Marcano calls everybody off, makes the catch on the pitcher's mound for out number 3. So Orleans able to dodge a bullet once again, allowing a leadoff double, but nothing results of it. Through 2.5 from Eldridge Park, Harwich nothing, Orleans nothing. You're listening to the Mariners Radio Network. Home half of inning number 3 from Orleans, Massachusetts. Firebirds looking to pick up their first run in quite some time, Tim, after getting shut out the night before. The Firebirds coming in at 2-3-1. They're actually last in the Eastern Division right now, but it's still early, and on top of that, it's a really tight division. Orleans in last. They're only a game and a half back.
Yeah, very tight, and that just, again, lends itself to how tight of a whole season it's going to be, because just 40 games across the entire league. So a really nice chance for Harwich tonight to be able to pick up some breathing room on the bottom of the division.
First pitch to Garrett Guillemette, swung at in the dirt. Guillemette just 1 for 10 on the season. Pitch misses low. It's funny enough that he's doing the catching for Max Rajic. Rajic from rival UCLA. So, rivalries put aside here on the Cape as Guillemette swings and misses at a fastball. Shawver putting something extra on that pitch. 1-2. 1-2 from the lefty. Misses down and in. Orleans, 2 hits, both coming in the first inning, both singles. Swing and a foul tip held onto by McKeithen. He fires it down to third around the horn. That is strikeout number 5 already for Shawver. He's halfway to his total in his first start, 1 down in the bottom of the third.
Yep, more of the same from Shawver. That's great to see from him, the consistency and how he's opened up these 2 games. Had a nice piece of pitching on that last at-bat. Before that strikeout pitch, went low outside, then brought it back down low inside to cross him up.
Jordan Sprinkle at the plate. First strikeout victim of the game for Shawver, and he watches ball 1. Lefty Shawver comes in and fights back with a breaking ball in the outside corner. Sprinkle out of UC Santa Barbara, another California school for Orleans, as they've got a real stronghold on the outside part, on the western coast, I should say. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Shawver working quickly, the pitch. Breaking ball, swung on and missed, strike 3, but it goes all the way to the backstop. McKeithen helplessly jogs back as Sprinkle with his speed, you can forget about it. He's on first via the drop third strike, so that is the 6th strikeout for Shawver, but it leads to a 1-out base runner.
Yeah, with the pace that Shawver's throwing at, as that thing flew by McKeithen on a fastball. When it skips and it jumps in the netting that's behind home plate like that, that's going to eat that ball up. It has no chance of bouncing back towards McKeithen in any amount of time for him to be able to throw down Sprinkle at first.
Yeah, it's really hit or miss because the bottom 2 feet, it's brick, so it's going to bounce back. There is some padding as well, so it depends on where you catch it. But right, as you said, it hits the netting. As the pickoff move gets away from Putz at first, Sprinkle advances to second, so things going from bad to worse this inning for the Mariners. Runner on second with 1 out, and still no pitches thrown to Ryland Thomas, who's at the plate.
Yeah, things moving very quickly after the dropped strike 3 and then the botched pickoff attempt. McKeithen out talking to his pitcher now. That's definitely the right move. You need to slow things down. That's back-to-back plays, like you said, without even a pitch thrown to the batter, Ryland Thomas, where things are going awry. And just like that, Sprinkle, who struck out while he's standing on second base.
McKeithen heads back behind the plate. And here's Ryland Thomas, who ripped a single to left field in his first at-bat. Sprinkle takes his lead off second. Shawver comes home. Breaking ball, front door, misses inside to the lefty.
But Shawver's got every reason to believe, he can just come back and strike guys out. He's been in tough situations so far this season. Has not allowed a run yet.
Runner going, Sprinkle, what a jump, and he's safe at third. Shawver didn't even come home with it. Sprinkle just took off, and the Mariners' defense was caught napping. He's at third safely with still just 1 out.
Heads up running from Sprinkle, taking advantage of the fact that you have the lefty and Shawver on the mound, so he's going to be looking over towards that first base side. Instead, his back is turned. Really high IQ play there from Sprinkle.
Infield still at normal depth for the Mariners. Fastball from Shawver, that one's over for a strike. And with the error, I believe, was charged to Evan Shawver on the throw. Currently an unearned run. Ryland Thomas awaits. The 1-1. Line drive sliced foul into the street off to the left. This will be a big out if the Mariners can get it. After that drop third strike, an error, and then a stolen base. Giving Orleans a golden opportunity. The pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That's in the dirt. McKeithen has to throw down, and he does. That's the 3rd strikeout of the inning for Evan Shawver, but because of the drop third strike, only 2 outs. That's also his 7th already through 2 2/3.
Yeah, how often do you get an opportunity to perhaps see 4 strikeouts in an inning? Not to jinx it ahead of time, but 3 in the inning and it's not over. You have that lone runner and Sprinkle standing over on third. That was a big out because now, again, similar to the first inning, Orleans has to get a hit here to drive in a run.
Good guy to do it, though, at the plate, and Connor Cox, who's already 1 for 1. Single to left field. First pitch. Fastball, he's jammed, and it's popped up foul out of play. This is the 3rd scheduled game, but only the 2nd that is hopefully going to be completed between Orleans and Harwich. There will also be 1 more here at Eldridge Park, 2 more at White House Field in Harwich. Shawver comes home, fastball low. Looking at the scoreboard out west, the Cotuit Cavaliers They have just been tearing the cover off the ball against Hyannis. They lead at 13-4 in the top of the 8th inning. Harwich, or Hyannis, I should say, actually trailed 13-0, so they were able to pick up some runs late at Lowell Park. Shawver's pitch, breaking ball comes in and it glances off the foot of Cox. Sprinkle was planning on going home, but he will be sent back to first on the dead ball. It's a hit by pitch, and with first and third, a huge opportunity for cleanup hitter Chase Young.
Yeah, big spot here for Young. We mentioned it a bit before. Hasn't been off to the greatest start, but you know this is a guy who, despite having not had the greatest go of it to open up this first week of action, he could turn it on at any moment. So Shawver's certainly going to have to be cautious here with runners on the corners.
First pitch to Young, fastball, misses low and outside. Stop me if you've heard this one before. YD has tied once again.
You're kidding.
1-1 the final as they tie the Brewster Whitecaps in that Eastern Division matchup.
That is the third time this season YD has tied. My goodness.
Time called as Young steps out of the box. Really, outside of that Catuit game, the other games all competitive throughout the Cape. Chatham clinging to a 3-2 lead over the undefeated Bourne Braves. Shawver breaking ball misses low. That allows Cox to take off. He takes second easily as the ball got a couple of feet away from Aaron McKeithen.
Yeah, if you're Harwich, I mean, you're hoping that doesn't matter, that the runner in Cox makes it down to second, because you're trying to record this out here, keep Sprinkle from coming home in the first place, but that could be pretty consequential if it comes back to bite the Mariners.
First base is open, so he can take a cautious approach to Young down in the count 2-0. The pitch. Breaking ball, that's below the knees, 3-0. In the lone other game, Falmouth and Wareham all square at 3 in the bottom of the third. That game across the bridge out in Wareham. Shawver with the 3-0. Fastball, that's on the corner for a strike. Young thought he had ball 4 as he's just about to let go of the bat, but he digs right back into the box. Tyler Locklear on deck. The pitch. Breaking ball, that's in there for strike 2.
A couple nice pitches from Shawver. I mean, that first one, Young didn't even think was a strike. It was just that close. And then this past one, Young again backing off of it, but just nicely placed on the inside of the zone. Full count now.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Sprinkle at third, Cox at second. Shawver comes home. Fastball jammed to second. Hughes fields it cleanly, launches it to first, and the inning is over. So Orleans strands a couple of runners for the second time in 3 innings, and we stay scoreless from Eldridge Park, 0-0 after 3 between Harwich and the Orleans Firebirds. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Top of the 4th inning from Orleans, and now for the next 3 innings of play-by-play, here is Tim Foley.
Thank you, Colin, as we are here still in Orleans. Eldridge Park, a beautiful Monday night. Another one of those baseball skies opening up here as some of the images have been shared around the internet to this point. A lot of beautiful baseball being played early in this season. For Orleans, on the mound now as a new pitcher on the mound for the Firebirds. It's number 19, Carter Smith. The freshman out of BYU throws it as a righty. Stands about 6'4", 210 pounds. And he'll be facing off against the heart of this Mariners order, the 4-5-6 batters. It'll be Pat Winkle, Carter Putz, and Josh Hood.
Yeah, so once again, a 3-inning outing, Tim, for Max Rajic. And once again, he's going to get a no decision as he was able to keep the game scoreless. To his credit, in those 6 innings he's now pitched on the season, he has done his job, and that has been give the Orleans Firebirds a chance to win the game.
Yeah, and we've seen it just looking at this scorebook so far. He pitched a lot to contact as the first pitch into the new batter. Winkle is in for a called strike. A couple of infield assists. Of course, shortstop, third, second, all getting involved early in this one. And it's worked well. Again, that's an Orleans strength this season, and they're going to play into that all night long. As that one went off the bat of Winkle and ended up stinging the catcher in Gilmet just a hair. Had to shake it off. Umpire coming out to the mound to have a brief talk with Smith, make sure that the catcher in Gilmet has some time to recover after taking a stinger off the glove.
Yeah, those are always the worst as a catcher. Sometimes you just get one that deflects and catches you in a spot with not a lot of padding. That's exactly what happened there.
Catcher back behind the plate. Ball hit on the ground by Winkle, picked up by the first baseman, charging over to his right, throw to Smith, who was then standing on first, and there's one down in the top of the 4th inning.
Yeah, good job covering there from Smith. Sometimes it can be tough as a pitcher. First time you're on the mound, the first batter you face, it can be hard to remember that ball hit to your first baseman. You got to hightail it over there, but he was ready. Got in there plenty of time to retire Winkle.
This brings up Putz. Putz 1 for 1 so far on the day. Had that double out to deep right center to open up that 2nd inning. And again, he has had a fantastic start to his Cape League career thus far. We're going to look to continue it here. He is ahead in the count, 1-0. Next pitch is in for a called strike, now 1-1. Mariners wearing their grays with the blue numbers, red trim. Firebirds, white jerseys with the red sleeves, white pants. Pitch missing down low, count now 2-1.
I don't believe Orleans wore the whites in their opening day game.
No, they had the black jerseys
right.
broken out. A couple of new jerseys for them this year, and I've seen them. They are looking nice this year, these Firebirds. 1-2 pitch, foul it off, or 2-1 pitch rather, count now 2-2, but another stinger for the catcher, Gilmet. He's been taking a beating behind the plate this inning, as he'll take a moment to get up.
Yeah, this one might even be worse than the first one because it got him just above the knee, it looked like. Maybe on the inside of the knee, actually, and he's grabbing at that left leg. And you wonder if just out of even precaution, manager Kelly Nicholson might remove him from the game.
Yeah, being checked out now by Nicholson and the trainer for the Firebirds. Had a similar occurrence last night against the Anglers for the Mariners, where it was the catcher for Chatham who had gone down, taking contact, and they had to work out what exactly to do with him as he was substituted out, came back in the next inning. And it looks like the catcher Gilmet will stay in the game. Nicholson and the trainer for Orleans heading back into the dugout. And that's the thing about catchers, they are tough guys. I mean, I guarantee you that's not the first stinger that Gilmet's taken in his career, and I promise you it's not going to be the last. So the count, 2-2. Not Pat Winkle. He was put out. Carter Putz is at the plate. Next pitch, foul it off, slicing over towards the Nauset Public School here. That is the backdrop behind that hill along that first base side.
I gotta watch out if you're parked up there.
You park up there today, Colin?
I did, but I made sure that I was at least behind the trees, so at least it, slows down a little bit if it cracks my windshield.
As this ball gets away from the catcher, Gilmet takes a roll over towards the Orleans dugout.
Yeah, there was one foul ball in opening night that I was particularly concerned about because it looked like it was heading right for my front windshield. But thankfully, no cracks when I got over there.
I don't take any chances. I park well beyond that right
Yeah,
field fence.
Probably the smart thing to do, but I like to live my life on the edge.
As I know you like to do, Colin. That pitch missing, and it's a walk for Carter Putz. So a 1-out walk. He's on for the second time today. And this brings up Josh Hood, the righty out of NC State. Struck out. He was the third strikeout victim of the starting pitcher for Orleans, Max Rajic.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing for these Mariners bats. They're not getting the same guy their second time through, at least not for the top three hitters. So you wonder if it's a good thing or a bad thing for the Mariners lineup, because they were getting some extra base hits as the first pitch that Hood sees as a called strike, but they were getting extra base hits off of Rajic, but now all of a sudden, new pitcher might be a little bit of an adjustment.
Mariners had 3 doubles in the first 3 innings, 1 in each inning. Hood can't check his swing. He goes around. Count now at 0-2. Checking down to first is the catcher Gilmet. He was in a half squat, almost standing actually, just behind home plate. You had to figure that was the play as they drew it up. As that ball came in for Gilmet to stand up and check down to Marcano, make sure Putz stayed over at first.
Just a little bit of a snap throw. Didn't look like a pitch out, just a pitch that missed outside.
The 1-2 got him looking. Down goes Hood. Didn't even think about swinging, and he will saunter slowly away from the box. This brings up Aaron McKeithen, the catcher.
Yeah, wasn't expecting the breaking ball, and pitch looked like it just caught the corner. Fooled completely, not the game that Hood's expected to have with 2 strikeouts early on, but he's a guy that knows how to bounce back after getting in a little bit of a rut. He's done it a couple of times this year.
Yeah, had a decent day yesterday as McKeithen gets a hold of the first pitch he sees, ends up over at shortstop, throw on to first. Picked out. My goodness, Jordan Sprinkle over to Julio Marcana, and he digs that one out of the dirt. A well-picked ball by Marcano. And the Orleans Firebirds out of the inning. Putz was able to get on first with a 1-out walk, but that's the only base runner the Mariners get on. We move now to the bottom of the 4th inning. It's 1-0. It's nothing, scoreless here from Eldridge Park. Orleans Firebirds coming up to bat. We'll be back in just a moment. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back with you now here from Orleans. Still 0-0. We head into the bottom of the 4th inning. As leading off for the Firebirds, Tyler Locklear struck out swinging to end the 1st inning. And a strike to open up this at-bat.
Locklear, again, just one of many guys who have struggled to pick up Evan Shawver.
Yeah, Shawver has been working early as another strike delivered into Locklear. Count 0-2. Had a chance to get 4 strikeouts in that 3rd inning. Ultimately settles for 3. As down swinging goes Locklear, strikeout number 8 through 3 1/3 for Shawver.
Yeah, it's been outstanding to watch Evan Shawver through these first couple of starts. It really reminds me, and I know Tyler Henry, who's here, can definitely attest to it. It reminds me of Logan Allen's start to the Cape League summer last year. A left-hander that just picked apart batters, had some solid velocity, but a really good breaking ball that has set him apart.
Logan Allen, of course, his stint with the Mariners cut short, having to go to Team USA. Expecting it to perhaps be a short stint for Shawver here down on the Cape, as a prospect who's expecting to hear his name called come early July.
And that's exactly what happened to Logan Allen. 2020 draft, he was taken by the Cleveland Indians.
It's a 1-0 count to the new batter, Jared McKenzie, grounded out to first, his last at-bat. This ball hits squarely, going foul. Unable to trace over and make the catch out in left, Josh Hood, well out of play.
Chatham's still on top right now of Bourne, so we could be seeing the end of that undefeated start for the Braves.
Yeah, that game in the top of the 8th inning. Looking around at some of these other scores as the 1-1 pitch goes to 1-2 now here for McKenzie. Look at the other scores. A tie game between Wareham and Falmouth in the top of the 5th. Another ball fouled off here by McKenzie. Of course, we're still scoreless in this one. Get to it. Still ahead of the Harbor Hawks. Top of the 9th. They're looking to lock that one up. A 13-5 game over at Lowell Park. Here's Shawver's pitch. Got him up high with the fastball. Strikeout number 9 from Evan Shawver. This man is blowing away these Orleans Firebirds.
Yeah, keep in mind, he went 6 innings and struck out 10 batters. He's through 3 2/3 and has already struck out 9. We are seeing something special so far this summer from Evan Shawver.
We truly are, as this ball taken squarely out to center field, except settling underneath it for the Mariners is Malgeri to end the inning. Of course, that deep center field playing in favor of the Mariners just then. Down goes Marcano. Next up for the Firebirds, it'll be Blackwell, Gilmet, and then the top of the order with Sprinkle. But for now, we move to the top of the 5th inning. 9 strikeouts for Evan Shawver. Another nice one so far from Shawver. We'll see what he does next time Orleans is at the bat. But for now, we move on. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners on the Mariners YouTube network. bringing it back to Orleans here. Leadoff man for Harwich, Ben Malgeri. We'll also see Hal Hughes and Nick Lucky in this inning. First pitch in for a strike, called strike, dealt to Malgeri. Malgeri grounded out to first his last at bat. Second pitch he sees, he takes it outside for a ball. And again, it's been a nice start to the season for Malgeri, as he takes another pitch, just missing. 2-1 now. Malgeri on the season, 429, 6 for 14, couple walks, couple RBI. Doing a really nice job coming out of Northeastern. That pitch in for a strike evens up the count.
You don't see a whole lot of players on the Cape outside of BC from these Boston schools, but it's great to see a guy from Northeastern representing his school well.
Foul ball ended up bouncing off of Malgeri. Count stays at 2-2, and deservedly so. We see a few Northeastern guys on this roster, with Schlittler as well for the Mariners. Of course, didn't get a complete start. Actually started against Orleans in that rain out, only pitched 3 innings, but deservedly so, as they really had an excellent season. Those Huskies did. That ball missing. Count now full here to Malgeri.
That made the tournament actually this year. They were outstanding. And so is Schlittler on that abbreviated start. He went 3 shutout innings against Orleans.
Full pitch, misses down low, and a leadoff walk for the Mariners. And here it is again. You get the leadoff guy on. This will be the 3rd time this game. Of course, not the leadoff double you had with Putz in the 2nd and Hughes in the 3rd, but nonetheless, leadoff man on. Can this Mariners offense channel what they've had the past 2 nights and move some guys around the bases? Hal Hughes, one of those members of the Mariners, with a double. He now stands in, shows bunt, ball skips away and gets eaten up by the net. Running on to second is Malgeri.
Well, there's your runner at second with nobody out.
Yeah, so for the 3rd time, just as I mentioned, not on second. But now you do, as you said, have a guy on second. No outs. Conversation being had now between Carter Smith and Garrett Gilmette. They'll look to sort it out. You always have to pitch a bit differently with guys on the bases.
Yeah, there's a right-hander getting loose now in the Firebirds bullpen, so you wonder if Smith, who did appear in the opening night game, might be reaching the end of his rope.
Seeing some short outings from pitchers so far to start this season. I mean, even for Harwich, Shawver's had the deepest outing so far with 6 innings. Next closest was Sinicola with 5. Just last night, and I believe opening night as well, pitched 5 innings. And so haven't seen guys go all that deep. Sinicola opening day actually going 4. But Shawver, the one exception, and we'll see if he comes back out for the 5th inning, excuse me. Ball hit on the ground by Hughes, chopped foul down the 3rd base line. Count now sits at 1-1.
Now, to his credit as well, Schlittler was going 3 innings and was on a pretty efficient pace against Orleans, so I think he probably would have been able to make a stronger start as well. But yeah, you mentioned that's one thing I'm sure the second time through, all these starting pitchers are going to work on, working deeper and working more efficiently.
As the pickoff attempt over to second base, diving back safely is Hughes. And that's the job a lot of the times of a lot of these coaches when you have the guys who come in who are last call for 50-50 here at Eldridge Park, as you have guys who are relief pitchers who, you try and stretch them out as the season goes along. Hughes flies one out to right field. Tagging up at second, but staying put is going to be Malgeri. So once again, Hughes, I believe in every single at-bat that he's put contact on the ball here at Eldridge Park, he has sliced it out to right field, and only once has it actually gotten down for a base hit.
Yeah, just a little late on some of these pitches, and ball wasn't hit all that deep, so even a guy with a lot of speed like Ben Malgeri, unable to tag up and get to first base, as Kelly Nicholson heading out to the mound, and you wonder if he's going to make a matchup move, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Well, I don't know if it's exactly a matchup move. I think he's just going to a different arm.
Yeah, so that will be the day for Carter Smith. He goes to the dugout. And we'll try to get a look at who's coming on for the Firebirds in just a minute. We'll take a minute to get caught up and get you the information you need about this new pitcher for the Firebirds. It's Harwich nothing, Orleans nothing, with one out here in the top of the 5th inning. We'll be back in just a minute from Eldridge Park. You are listening to the Harwich Mariners on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. All right, bringing it back to Orleans now. Still another warm-up pitch for the new slinger on the mound, Jack Philby out of UCLA, the righty. Philby, this season, he's appeared twice already for the Firebirds. Pitched 2 1/3 innings, given up 7 hits, 3 runs, each of them earned. Struck out 2 and has walked 2. Colin, what do you make of the move to the bullpen here?
It's an interesting one. Carter Smith hadn't given up any hits through the inning and a third he had pitched, but he did issue a couple of walks, was getting a little bit wild. Kelly Nicholson deciding, you know what, we're going to give Philby an opportunity to really build some confidence after struggling in his first couple of appearances. We'll see if he can put out the fire with Malgeri at second.
Malgeri diving back, safe as the pickoff attempt unsuccessful. Nick Lucky standing in. This the 3rd time through the lineup now for the Mariners. Lucky 0 for 2 on the day, struck out and grounded out to 3rd in each of his previous at-bats. Still awaiting his first pitch from the righty from UCLA. Philby sets on the mound, squatting down Gilmet. The delivery sliced back into the netting just in front of us here at Eldridge Park along that 3rd base line. Foul.
Yeah, great opportunity again for Harwich. We've seen them have plenty of chances. They've left a runner on base in each of the first 4 innings, and often runners been in scoring position.
It's an 0-1 count. Next pitch, chasing after it was Lucky. It was down in the zone. Had some speed on it at 90 miles an hour. Lucky could not quite catch up to it. Tough one to hit anyway. That was pretty low. As Philby going to look to put him away here, ahead in the count 0-2. The pitch. Sliced back again, foul just in front of us, well above our heads, but into the netting. Count stays at 0-2.
We talked about the wind earlier, and I really think once again it's blowing in from the outfield. We saw a ball hang up there earlier. Julio Marcano hit one out to center field, and that ball just died once it got to the grass. Seen kind of the same thing that a lot of people said they saw in the 0-0 shutout yesterday, funny enough.
Standing on second, Malgeri. The 0-2 pitch, sliced foul right over Route 28. That runs along the 3rd base side here at Eldridge Park. Lucky battling here at the plate, trying to get a feel for this pitcher in Philby, and that's the idea. Whenever you foul balls off like this, eventually you find something you like. Lucky's still searching. Still behind in the count, 0-2. Here's the pitch. Skips in the dirt, takes a hop away from the catcher, Gilmet. It stays in front of him just enough to keep Malgeri standing on second without charging over to third.
The Mariners playing it safe so far in terms of running the bases. We've seen opportunities where they've had the chance to advance, but they don't want to be caught with their pants around their ankles on the base paths.
Just 1 out, a 1-2 count. Here's the pitch. Check swing from Lucky. Ball gets away from the catcher. Sliding down to third safely is Malgeri. So now with Lucky, looks like he was able to successfully hold his swing. He'll stay at the plate. And now with just 1 out, Malgeri stands on third, and that's huge that Lucky was able to hold on to his swing there, because say he goes down swinging, now you have another situation with 2 outs where you need a base hit to be able to drive in a run. Another foul from Lucky. Count here, 2-2.
And more importantly for Orleans, they realize that, and they're bringing the infield in. Once you get to the 5th inning on, and you're in a scoreless game, you got to get that runner out at the plate. So all Lucky has to do is hit one out to the outfield, and his team's going to be on the board.
Orleans familiar with having to play a tight game, of course, as we've mentioned, that nothing tie last night. Ball brushes Lucky off the plate. Count is now full to the righty out of Coastal Carolina. Orleans has not scored a run since the 5th inning of their game the day prior, also against YD. Full count pitch, down goes Lucky swinging, but the pitch was dropped, and the throw on the first is in time. So now with 2 outs and the drop strikeout, Zach Preisner will come up. Malgeri still standing on third, waiting for somebody to drive him home. He's been out there all inning long after his leadoff walk.
Yeah, Lucky able to fight back after falling behind 0-2, but again, you wonder, that's just another missed opportunity for the Mariners, having that chance. Another huge pitch, though, from Jack Philby. Got to give him a lot of credit.
Yeah, he's retired the 2 batters he's seen so far, or the 1 batter I should say, and oh, a beauty, a chance from Sprinkle as he almost caught it over at short. I mean, it looked beautiful, but only counts if it stays in the glove. And so safe on first is going to be Marcano. Coming home to score is Malgeri. Mariners are up 1-0.
Yeah, they're going to rule that one an error for Sprinkle, who really had to go a long way to leap up and make that play. But it goes off his glove. It looked like it squirted out when he hit the ground, really. Once his feet hit the ground, it just came out. Talk about a huge break for Harwich. Putting the ball in play, good things happen as Malgeri able to score.
Not something you see all too often from this Orleans defense, an error, just the 3rd error charged against Orleans this season, except, of course, for the, no, I believe that was just the 3rd error.
And they actually changed it. They're going to give him a hit.
They're going to give him a hit, all right. It was a pretty well-hit ball. It did look like it was hanging in the glove of Sprinkle for quite some time, but they rule it a hit. Mariners will take it all the same. They're ahead 1-0. And now a hit jumping over the head of Sprinkle, driving Preisner to second is Brock Wilkin.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's surprised by that. Wilkin keeping the line moving. Great job of squaring that pitch up and taking it right back up the middle. Mariners are able to get through for 1. You wonder if this will open the floodgates like we've seen over the last couple of games.
And it was another chance for Sprinkle as he dove to his left, took a funky hop off the lip of the dirt, and got over his head. And so Preisner now stands on second. Wilkins stands on first. And you have Pat Winkle 0 for 2 looking for his first hit of the day. Takes a slice of the first pitch he sees, sends it back to the backstop. He's behind 0-1.
I believe that's now 11 of 24 to start the season for Brock Wilkin. Absolutely outstanding start for, again, a guy who is just coming off of his freshman year at Wake Forest. Unbelievable talent here on the Cape for Harwich.
Wilkin 2 for 3 with a double and a single. Winkle rather, looking for some success here. Just recently returning from that MLB combine. He's facing a 1-1 count. Philby staring in, nods, delivers. Ball gets away from Gilmet. He doesn't know where it is. Runners are going to advance. So Preisner now stands on third. Wilkins stands on second. And this inning falling apart a little bit for Orleans, Colin. A couple of outs back-to-back with the fly out to right and then the strikeout by Lucky. But these past few at-bats have not looked too good for Orleans in the infield.
No, it certainly hasn't, and it just shows the huge momentum shift that took place when that ball popped out of Sprinkle's glove. Mariners smelling blood in the water.
Count here sits at 2-1. Swinging is Winkle, can't get a piece of it. 2-2 now.
This would be a big moment for Pat Winkle if he can come through. He's still trying to find a rhythm. Doesn't have any RBIs yet on the season. I believe he's still also looking to pick up an extra base hit, which he hasn't done yet this year.
He's facing a 2-2 count with 2 runners in scoring position. The pitch, ball hit on the ground, chopped over towards shortstop, picked up by Sprinkle. Throw on to first is in time to get out of the inning. The Mariners do get one across. It's Ben Malgeri, who ended up coming home to score thanks to the dropped ball. Ended up being ruled a hit on that scorcher over to short. So the Mariners lead it 1-0 over Orleans. Shawver back on the mound for the Mariners. We'll bring you the bottom half of the inning in just a minute. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back to baseball in Orleans. Evan Shawver still on the mound, still looking sharp for the Mariners. 9 strikeouts for the southpaw out of Cincinnati through just 4 complete innings of work so far. A strikeout shy of tying what he was able to produce his last outing against YD. As that was an excellent outing from him then. Pitch in for a strike to Ben Blackwell. He's ahead in the count. 0-1.
Yeah, it's really cool to see a guy like Shawver who didn't have the best of seasons in 2019 on the Cape, and here he is just mowing down hitters. You can tell that experience is paying off.
And another pitch blows by Blackwell, that one clocking in at 89, able to beat him. And I remember the conversation that our very own Tyler Henry had with Shawver, earlier in the season, and as that pitch scorches outside, misses 1 and 2. And even though it was such a short season for Shawver, he learned so much from being able to talk to guys. As you mentioned, Logan Allen, one he name-dropped in particular in regards to how to pitch at guys. And so another pitch here missing away, count now 2 and 2. And you can certainly tell that what he was able to pull from that shortened season he had on the Cape in 2019 has really developed his game. The 2-2 pitch. Swinging is Blackwell. Down he goes. Strikeout number 10. He's done it again. Evan Shaver, his second straight outing with 10 strikeouts. He has been absolutely filthy.
Just really remarkable what he's been able to do so far through 2 games. And he's still going. His pitch count, now at 70 pitches. He can go for a little longer.
First pitch to the new batter goes right after him, called strike 1.
Looking towards the Harwich bullpen, can't exactly tell if there's any action just yet. Doesn't look like it.
Gary Gilmet batting as this one pulled over to third, picked up by Wilkin. Throw on to first, goes well over the head of Putz. And so now tracing over to second base is going to be Gilmet on the throw from Wilkin that missed Putz up high.
Yeah, it was a hard hit ball that Wilkin got cleanly. Just airmailed the throw. That's something that Wilkin, this is second error of the season here, so looking at kind of as good as the bat's been, still trying to get the glove and the arm going in the direction that he wants it to, but golden opportunity for Orleans, especially with the top of the order coming up, and here's a guy who's going to look for some revenge in Jordan Sprinkle.
Jordan Sprinkle, he struck out twice. He did get on base with the dropped strikeout back in the third inning, got as far as third base after some funky antics. He stole a base while Shaver still had the ball in his hand and ended up getting onto second as well, prior, of course, to stealing third. As time called briefly, Sprinkle had to back out. He takes a moment now. Standing in the righty batter's box, Shaver peeks back towards second. Nods and delivers. Sliced off by Sprinkle. Just on top of the hill. That one looks like it's going to land. Of course, the hill filled up at Eldridge Park as it is, as it tends to be here in Orleans.
It seems like there wasn't a whole lot of people here for first pitch, but since then it has gradually increased, and now, yeah, not a lot of green to see on the right side behind the Orleans dugout.
Of course, hot to open it up. Now that it's cooled down a bit, you roll everybody out after dinner, catch the ball game. Next pitch finds its way down low, counts 1-1.
And the big benefit for the Firebirds is they're able to draw a big crowd because you have those people that are spending their vacations beyond Orleans in those towns like Eastham, Wellfleet, Provincetown. They're all coming down to come to the closest game for them, which is here in Orleans.
Certainly, got to catch the closest game. Something tells me as this ball is fouled off by Sprinkle, that